office, Washington office, Ron Paul, but was chief of staff. And we went through this. There's a reluctance on the part of the staff to respond to petitions and legal grievances. Why? Because if we respond to your petitions, then everybody else is going to be submitting their petitions for redress, and they're going to be looking for a way to respond to the people who don't respond to ours. And they'll come in over the transom, we'll be overwhelmed, we don't have the staff, we don't have the budget, and so all that. It's a Tom look. Yeah, it might be a little busy at first, but once we get the government under control, things will slow down. Every now and then there'll be a petition for redress. But in any event, it was a real bureaucratic response from Ron's staff. And it was wrong. It doesn't relieve Ron Paul of the individual responsibility of responding to these petitions. But in fact, in 2001, I was on a hunger fast in Washington, and we held a press conference down there with Ron's help and Congressman Martin's on the House trial because they weren't responding to the first of these petitions. And Ron and Congressman Martin were there, and Ron made the statement, there is an inherent right in those 10 words that government must respond. Government has the obligation, he said, to respond. It's all part of the inherent right of petition for redress. But nonetheless, the staff really depends on the staff and the staff available. So you'll find that these petitions on our website as part of this PowerPoint presentation and otherwise. We have a petition for a redress. It is unconstitutional to apply the armed forces of the United States in hostility overseas without a declaration of war. It is unconstitutional to do that. Last time we looked at was World War II. We have the United forces. And so Ron Paul did a great job when, it's well understood now that President Bush has, from day one, has always wanted to go into Iraq for whatever reason. And eventually, someone, said, well, what about Congress? And so it's the Constitution. And so they prepared, the White House prepared what's called the Iraq resolution. And they sent it over to Congress to be passed. And then they come back to give it a signature. And if Congress passed that, it would have been, it would transfer the power of Congress to the President. It would give the power to the President. Essentially say to the President, you decide if we're going to go into Iraq and land and so forth instead of Congress. But the way it's designed to work, the President feels we have to apply the armed forces of the United States and hostilities overseas. There's supposed to be a debate on the floor of the House and the Senate, and they're supposed to ask all the tough Senate and questions to get to the bottom of things, and then declare war. But that's not what they did. So this Iraq resolution that Bush sent over to Congress fell to the House in October of 2002, some 5 months before we went into Iraq. It fell to the House International Relations Committee, chaired by Henry Cobb. And on the second day, October 3rd, Ron Paul was a veteran, and his turn came to speak. And he did a really great job. It's all in the transcript. We have it on our website. He's like a full transcript of that hearing. Like go to House.gov, and go to the appropriate House International Relations Committee, and go into October 2nd, 3rd of 2002. But what he did was say to them, look, they debated the wrong resolution. And he said, I'd like to substitute a resolution for the one that came over from the White House. If you pass this, you'll be declared war. And he did a great job of quoting the Constitution, and reading of the War Powers Clause, quoting the Madison and so forth. But when he was finished, it was an indication of the problem we are now facing. When he was finished, Henry Hyde said this: events have overtaken the Constitution. The Constitution is anachronistic and inappropriate. So, in other words, we're changing it simply because, we think it's appropriate to do so. So they went on and voted Ron's amendment and then passed the White House Iraq resolution. And there's nothing in the Constitution that gives one branch the authority right to transfer its power to another branch, and yet that's what they do. The White House, the president, often these days, more often, usurping the power of Congress and Congress acquiescing. All right, so the Federal Reserve System, we won't go through all of these, but clearly the Federal Reserve System is unconstitutional for many reasons, not the least of which is the money is not backed by precious metals, gold and silver. The USA Patriot Act is unconstitutional, violates the privacy clauses. The Federal Reserve System, of course, violates the money clauses of the Constitution. You can scroll down a little bit. There are tax clauses in the Constitution. The current direct unapportioned tax on labor is unconstitutional. In Article 2, not only which deals with the power of the president, not only is he required to take an oath to uphold the Constitution, but he's also required to, quote, faithfully execute the laws. Now, there are laws on the books. Immigration, naturalization laws. They've been there a long time. Whatever your feelings about immigrants, illegal immigrants, these laws are on the books, and they're not enforced. Well, neither party wants to enforce those laws because they don't want to offend the legitimate vote. That's what it comes down to. But they're there. We don't like them. Repeal them. But we're a nation of the law. Let's obey the Constitution to another area where the Constitution. You know, every time there's an issue in the country, I like to go to what's the constitutional connection here? Is this a political question or is it a constitutional question? If it's a political question, as an organization, we don't get involved. The government has the authority to do what it is they want to do, and it's whether, say, the state sales tax goes from 6% to 7%, and under the state constitution they have the authority to impose a state sales tax, and whether it's a 6 or 7%, that's a political question for the give and take society. We don't get involved. We only get involved when there are violations of the Constitution or hold the government accountable. So when these issues come up, we fail to recognize how intense this immigration, this illegal immigration issue has become these days. And so, you know, we just go to the Constitution and we say, well, what's the constitutional link here? Is there a violation of the Constitution? Well, there it is. It's the faithfully execute clause. The president would faithfully execute the law that Congress passed, then this problem will go away. Okay. North American Union. There's no authority in the Constitution for the government to stealthily or otherwise develop a North American Union in essence eliminate the relations of marriage. There's no authority. So there's a petition for redress that's been assistance in the era put together, served, and the right to keep and bear arms, not only under federal gun control laws, unconstitutional, but the absence of no regulated state militia is also important. Foreign policy, mindful because of our presence and our involvement in internal affairs of our countries overseas, propping up governments that are very impressive. Those people are fighting their government. It's true, say, in the Middle East and elsewhere. They are the same everywhere. They're always loggerheads with their government. And so the government is the enemy of tolerance. The government is the enemy of freedom. That's true. And if those people begin to see that, you know, this government is what it is in large part because of the United States foreign policy, that's why they're arresting it. Then maybe what happens is people begin to see it and say, well, a friend of my enemy is my enemy. They begin to direct their hostilities towards us. And as they direct their hostilities towards us, we get a war on terror. A war on terror gives us a police state. That's all that we do. So maybe we, you know, so there's a clause in Article 1 right before the enumeration.